learning how to use your... Oh, boy, it is bright out here. Hold on. It's about to get real. All right, that's much better. Learning how to use your egress windows are important. So join us today on No Ordinary Path as we practice our egress and talk about RV safety with kids.
I've been super excited to bring this video to everyone for a while now. Being a former first responder, having a preparedness thing and being ready with your family is super important. It makes such a difference in the cases of certain emergencies.
I'm Aaron. I'm Ethan. I'm Chloe.
And we are here on the backside of Wendy to talk to you about something really special today. What are we going to be talking about, Aaron?
Safety!
Safety, specifically RV safety and preparedness with kids. I am here in Aaron's bed right now. Aaron has one of two of our escape windows. Every rig should have these, and they're all gonna look a little bit different. For your safety and for everyone else's in your family, it is really, in my opinion, it's imperative to practice this. Learn how it works. I mean, do it 3 or 4 times a year. Your kids will think it's really fun and neat, actually. And honestly, you may find a little trick or something that you might not realize in a panic situation when there's smoke in the vehicle or something like that. This is a little lever here that, you wanna show us how it works? Just lifts up and folds out, and the window pulls out just like this. Aaron, how does the screen come off?
Well, you just pull this red thing.
All right, why don't you do it, but do it slowly. Remember, we're not trying to break Wendy. Yep, it just pops out just like that, right? And now, show them how the window moves. So he's pulled the screen off. Now make sure the window's on its hinge. This is actually the first time he's had the opportunity to do this. Feel for that thing. Yep, now make sure the window's gonna open for you. Right now you still got it stuck on the little hinge thing. There you go. Yep, get your other foot out. It's easier to go totally feet first. You kind of went sideways, but you get the idea. Don't let the window slam. Right? And go on out. Good job.
I have a little stepladder here for them to use right now, but in the event that they didn't, one of the things that would be smart to tell your kids to do would be to throw some of their blankets or pillows or things like that out onto the ground, as they're going to likely kind of have to fall out of the window. So he opens the window and pushes it all the way out so that it stays on its hinges. We say feet first if you could do it. If not, or in an emergency, you're just going to get out as fast as possible. Nice job, Ethan. If you've got littles, some of the big ones that may be able to get out first can help.
Remember, step on the side. Gotcha! Or do a step!
Hey, you did very good, little miss. It's also important, albeit embarrassing maybe, to practice as an adult too. You can't just make your kids do it.
You did not warn me about this.
As a family, we've decided that in the event of a fire or anything that causes us to have to emergently leave Wendy, we will come to the front about 20 or so feet away where it was safe. Even if Wendy was on fire, this is where we meet up. So have a meetup place, right guys?
Yeah.
Have a meetup place that you discuss with your family beforehand, before an emergency. This is where we will always meet, guys, right here in front of Wendy, far enough away that if she was on fire, it would be okay.
An RV fire can happen to anyone. Early in December, we stayed at a place called Saddle Mountain, and it was some BLM land here in Arizona. A few weeks later on Christmas Day, a couple who was also living in their RV experienced a huge tragedy. We did reach out to them to make sure that it was okay to share their story. Mike and Becca of Living the Dash RV had a fire that started in their kitchen and quickly spread to the rest of their RV. They had just enough time to grab a tote and their dog and get out of the rig before it completely engulfed everything. As a former paramedic himself, Mike knew the importance of getting out as fast as they could. When I heard their story, I was moved to tears both by the tragic loss that they experienced, but also by the way that the RV community rallied around them. A special thanks to the RV Nomad Tribe and also to Stephen and Rosa Gravett of Gravett & Go for all of their help in the aftermath of this horrible tragedy. Their story further solidifies the importance of making sure that we know exactly what to do in case of a fire and that our kids know what to do in case of a fire. Even if our kids are the ones who accidentally start a fire, we don't want them to be afraid to get out of the RV as quickly as possible. Mike and Becca are now currently with their daughter in North Dakota, and we want you guys to know that our hearts go out to you guys, and we are praying for you as you figure out what to do from here and move forward. Thank you so much for letting us share your story.
No Ordinary Path is currently in the American Southwest, meaning the desert. We are in Arizona right now. One of the things that you would need to watch out for in terms of danger here with weather is actually flash flooding.
A wall of mud and debris tore through the Arizona desert today. Some folks had to jump out of its path and barely escaped.
The dangers of flash flooding is not just in the desert either. I mean, it's everywhere. And I've heard stories of other people kind of waking up where their tires for their rig were actually in the water. So it's a serious thing, you guys. You have to pay attention to where you're at, where you're camping. Talking about wind danger now. The biggest thing that everyone always thinks of when it comes to campers is the tornado going through the trailer park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are ever caught in a tornado in a camper, hopefully you know that it's coming and you've already had time to get to shelter. If you are out and about, one of the things that you can do if you're stuck outside, maybe hiking, and severe weather comes up on you fast, and you are in that, is to get to a place where there is a low divot in the ground. Tornado Dad's coming at you. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Now, lay down to cover the backs of your heads and your neck. Lay down like you were, like that, and cover your heads of your neck. We have something called a NOAA weather radio. You want to show them what that is, Aaron? It is AC powered, but they do also have battery power ones that run on like 9-volt batteries, that kind of stuff.
If you can, it's not always possible. We have really found that having a second vehicle is really great. And it's not only just so that I can escape and have a fun time not stuck in the RV, but it's also a safety reason in case there's ever a time that I feel unsafe or something happens in the RV and I need to get away quickly with the kids. We really wanted to make sure that I had that ability to leave whenever I needed to. I like to let our kids have a little bit of independence. I think that's really important for them, especially at their age. What we do is each of the boys has a backpack and they both have walkie-talkies. And since Christmas, we actually now have a walkie-talkie for everyone in the family. We can all be on the same channel and we can all communicate via walkie-talkie. So the boys are not allowed to go anywhere outside of the walkie-talkie range. They're still in eyesight of me, but when you're in a big open space like this, eyesight is a long ways away, and they're not going to hear me if I call them into dinner or something, and I'm not going to hear them if something goes wrong. So that's why we have walkie-talkies, so that we can communicate with each other. Okay, my third tip is don't answer your door for a stranger. Just like if we were at home in a regular house, I would not allow my children to answer the door for a stranger. I don't allow them to answer the door here either.
especially if you're out in the desert or out somewhere where there's not a lot of people around, having someone knock on your door is a little suspicious. So we don't answer the door for anyone. We do have a window right beside our front door that I can communicate with if I ever needed to.
These are Cinder's tips for pet emergencies. Do you have tips for us, Cinder? Yeah. If we're going to talk about RV safety with kids, you can't forget the fur babies. Let's talk about pets real quick. A first aid kit for a family can also be used on your dog. You can use the same kind of gauze, the same kind of stuff for a dog that you would on humans for the most part, with the exception, of course, of medicines. Do not give your animal dosing of, like ibuprofen or Tylenol or that kind of stuff like you would give a human. If you have an animal that is prone to certain, problems or difficulties, or may have something like diabetes or stuff like that, make sure you know how to take care of that animal, what medicines that animal needs. Talk to your vet about this lifestyle and moving around and that kind of stuff. Another thing I like to do for Cinder when we roll into a new area, a new city, maybe it's a new contract that I'm taking, is whenever I go to get her pet food, I make sure I know where some of the local emergency pet hospitals are. If something were to happen, and hopefully it never will, I know where I can take her.
When you leave your dog in the rig, make sure that you have proper ventilation. Leave some vents open, leave some windows cracked if you can, and make sure that it's not like super hot outside, because just like a vehicle, like a car, the RV does get warm when it's all closed up. So make sure that the temperature is okay for the dog.
Sure, there are things that you can buy that are like wireless little plants and stuff that will send, updates to your phones and stuff that do have the current temperature inside the rig, so that it's just one more modicum of safety for your animal.
I've seen some decals on some people's rigs. We don't have one personally that talks about, or that says that there is an animal inside in case there's an emergency and you're not there, so that someone can retrieve your animal for you.